What's up everyone, Alex here, and I've got another video about identity related things. This is what I do, and I feel like lately just my identity videos have been pretty all over the place, like questioning every single aspect, which I like. I like that I've brought so many different things to the table, so many just like ideas that I've had, like what if I'm this? Let's explore that. That's what a lot of 2020 has been, and a lot of the last few videos have been that particularly. Actually, the next several videos I think are going to be a lot of like questioning rather than explaining like experiences for sure. So it's gonna be interesting. So I wanted to talk about whether or not I have a xenic identity, and xenity, or the experience of having a xenic identity, really just means like something that is outside of the concept of any kind of binary, including non-binary. It is beyond that concept where there is no reference to the binary and no, what would you call it? It's related to being xenogender, which I think I have explained in past videos, where it's concepts like ungendered concepts, or concepts like abstract concepts that explain a gendered experience. That's probably the best way that I can word that. And I guess I've always wondered, like, is any part of my identity related to being xenogender, or being xenic, which is like the adjective for being xenogender. It's not a concept that I'm very familiar with, but there's a lot of micro identities that really resonate with me, and I want to start exploring that a lot more. So that's what this video is about, is exploring a lesser known micro identity and just kind of working through like, what does that experience mean for me, and does it even make sense? Like, I experience these feelings, like how do I conceptualize that into one like label, or one just easy to explain way? How does xenity relate to me at all? Like, where did I even come up with this possibility? The best explanation I have possibly is being like having a dissociative disorder, and like these disjointed parts of me having their own identities, and you know, realizing that a lot of those identities overlap with my experiences, overlap with my own identities, blend with them. Like, there's a lot of like gray area there. So I mean, I explained what it was like having a dissociative disorder. I have a video on that, so see that first before watching this, I guess, because a lot of stuff is not going to make sense otherwise. But so I have a system mate named Avery, and they are, I mean, non-human as far as I know. Gender doesn't really apply to them, and I guess because of Avery's influence and the overlap of our gendered experiences, technically that would make me part xenogender in some way, or part non-human, which relates to being xenogender. There's a lot of, I guess, there's a lot of that concept where it's like, if you consider yourself non-human, you usually consider taking on gender labels that are very non-conventional. And I think that's where this questioning is sort of coming from. So what kind of xenogender would I even have? I mean, I plan on doing a video on gender alignment, and for some strange reason I decided that this video is going up before that, because I was supposed to call back to that video, but I didn't record it. But I think if anything, I would be xeno-aligned, which is like the concept of being male-aligned or female-aligned. You can be aligned with neutral gendered experiences. You can be unaligned completely. It's a non-binary concept where, like, you are not male, but you're male-aligned. You still feel some kind of connection to malehood without considering yourself a man. That's what gender alignment is, and you can be aligned with like concepts that are not related to any kind of gender binary or non-gendered concepts. So xenogender, kind of like non-binary, it's an umbrella term, and it encompasses a huge number of different experiences, and it's so different for everyone. It's just like the non-binary community. Like, there's so much diversity, and there's just like a lot of stories behind like why you would consider yourself xenogender. There's a lot of people who, I mean, I explained, if you consider yourself non-human, if you consider yourself otherkin, you may relate to being xenogender. A lot of people, their neurodivergence plays into how they view their own gender, and that could also play into why they would consider themselves xenic in any way. I'm not entirely sure why I say xenogender, but then I say xenic as the descriptor for that. Sometimes I say xenogender, but that sounds so weird. So I don't know. I don't actually know how to pronounce it because I've only ever seen it online. So if you have any if you have any clue as to how that is pronounced, let me know, because I kind of switch between the two different pronunciations. Mostly, like, for my personal experience, I think that there is some kind of abstract gendered feeling that, like, it's hard to put into words if I don't consider the label xenogender. It could be something kin related. It could be something related to being dissociative. It could be something related to being autistic. I don't know that for sure. I don't know what influences, thinking that I might have a xenic identity in any way. But I think the abstract feeling of gender for myself, like, I know that I'm definitely part male, but that other part is so gray and so it's something and I never really had a word for it. So that other part, that's where that could be coming from. So what does that even feel like? What does zenity even feel like? Like I had said, part male, part something abstract, something nebulous. That's kind of the best way to establish a baseline for, like, having a xenic experience with gender. No binary related terms seem to fit that gap, so I guess, like, a more abstract concept would fit that. For me, zenity is kind of a mix of different things. It feels partly non-human and partly outside of the male-female non-binary, like, trinary. It's like a little bit of everything, a little bit of, like, different types of identities that I would think would make up a xenogender for me. And of course, like, when you say non-binary, there's thousands of identities that fall under that. So when I say xenogender, same thing, but I don't know what exactly I would call it. There's so many different xenogenders out there. Like, I wouldn't know what you could possibly call that. But I mean, maybe there's a word out there for that missing part of my gender that I just either haven't found or hasn't been invented yet. I guess that's kind of a callback to, like, coining your own terms. I think I've mentioned that in a couple videos. Like, if you don't have the language to describe your gendered experience, make your own. That is a really big thing in the community, like, people coining terms for their gendered experience. And I mean, people do that all the time with different aspects of their identity. Why not an abstract part, that, you know, there's a language gap, and we need language that describes that part of someone's identity. So I think, if anything, like I've always encouraged, like, make your own language to describe your experiences. So maybe it's just something that I have to invent myself, not invent the experience. It already exists, but I mean, like, invent a label for that. But I mean, for now, I think a xenic-aligned demi-boy is the best way and the broadest way to describe my experience. Not a lot of people, I say xenic-aligned, it's actually xeno-aligned, that's how it's usually said, but not a lot of people are going to understand that. So personally, it's really just specific online spaces that I would like talk about that kind of experience. I brought that up in past videos, where there's very specific, like, areas of the internet, very specific communities where I feel like I can talk about, like, gendered experiences that you don't normally hear. You're not going to hear news articles on someone who's xenogender, someone who's neurogender, anything like that. Like that is very niche, and people just aren't ready to discuss that openly. So I'm one of those people. So finding a label isn't really, like, something that I'm scrambling to be able to do at the moment, but having some kind of way to conceptualize my experience is helpful, definitely, because then I can go on to talk about my experiences, and maybe someone out there would be like, oh, that sounds like me, and I didn't even know this was a thing, but that sounds like what I am dealing with, what I'm going through. Like, it, there's someone who can relate to it, definitely. Like, I'm not alone in having this kind of experience. It's just navigating, you know, where and when to talk about it. And finding words that people can understand that describe the identity. Encompassing closing statements, I don't know what to call this particular section. It was a very short video. Usually my goal is to fill up, like, 2 sides of a page in my notebook, and that's an entire episode of identity talk. I try to stretch it out. I try to hit the 20-minute mark, but I mean, sometimes it's just a shorter video, but I think with this new format where I'm uploading identity talk a lot more often, I think the shorter format could work. Some people want a longer video, some people just want bite-sized stuff, so I think this could kind of work. But yeah, basically just an overview of this entire thing. I could be at least part xenogender, if not just xeno-aligned. I don't know if it's part male, part xenogender, or if it's just a xeno-aligned demi-boy. Like, 2 different concepts, definitely. But I'm not sure which. That's something that I'm definitely willing to look into and maybe make a video of if I make any kind of interesting discoveries. I also wanted to show off a flag that I made. It's a demi-xenic flag. I'm going to put it up here, right here. I don't know. I never know where to put graphics on screen because there's no, like, real space for it, but I guess it's right here. The demi-xenic flag, or demi-zen flag, that I made. But yeah, that's about it. Whenever I think that I've discovered terminology, or rather, whenever I think I've discovered an identity label that kind of resonates with me and, like, I want to explore further, I always make a flag for it. I have flags for, like, everything. Every little thing I've questioned, like, you know, what if my malehood is influenced by this concept, and then I just make a flag for it, because I guess that's what I do. It's fun. It's a very niche thing to do. Not a lot of people... What was that noise? Okay. the plant shelf made noise. My boyfriend has tons of plants that we had to bring inside because it's getting cold, and something made some kind of horrific sound, and I don't know what it was. I'm not gonna ask questions. But yeah, so I guess the question for this video, don't know what to call it because, like, it can't be the question of the month. Identity talk goes up more than once a month. Question of the week, maybe. I'm not sure what to call it, but my question is: do you define or view your gender in an abstract way? I decided to make it a little more broad of a question rather than saying like, are you xenogender? Do you have a xenic alignment? I think it was a lot easier to just have a general question because not everyone is going to take on the term xenogender. So yeah, do you have like any kind of abstract gendered experience? Like, let me know and we'll talk about it in the comments. I'm also in my Discord server. I'm always on Discord, so you can go over there and we can discuss it there as well. I think I have a channel for that now. I think I made a place where you could talk about Stormy Talks, like discussion topics, and like just kind of talk about like questions, concerns, suggestions to make it a little more not intuitive, just I don't know, just any kind of suggestions, I guess, to make the series better. Something you want to see me cover, or like if you want me to revisit the topic and expand on it, because I'm definitely planning on doing that once I've exhausted a lot of the broader like topics about identity. I want to go and revisit these things and go back to like, okay, what have my views on gender and malehood changed since making these discoveries about like being demigender and everything. Revisiting topics on like attractional labels, and I mean everything. I'm going to be going back and kind of reevaluating, especially now that I'm getting better at talking about my experiences and making these videos. So that's in the works, but that's future video topics, is revisiting older identity talk videos. So there we go. I hope everyone is doing well. My voice is a little tired, but yeah, mostly I've been getting settled in with this new job of mine. Like figuring out like money, figuring out navigating just everything right now. The world it's definitely going through some things. But yeah, by now 2020 is almost over. I think this video is going up on solstice. If it's not today, it's tomorrow. But yeah, I'll be by now I will have been celebrating solstice and enjoying the end of the year with my boyfriend. And maybe I'll do like a vlog. Like I always tie in like personal things, stuff that's going on in my life. I always tie it in with identity talk. I always talk about like what's going on in my life, but I think I may do like an actual vlog and talk about like what kind of hobbies I'm getting into, what kind of creative projects I'm starting, how life is during this pandemic, job related stuff, things I'm getting really into. Like right now I am obsessed with the new Animaniacs, and I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Those are like my two big things right now. And learning Japanese. My voice cracked, but you know what? It's all part of the fun experience of being a YouTuber. But anyway, I'm signing off for now. See you later.